The world's strongest man's bounty was this, and Drakul Mihawk is the strongest swordsman. Mihawk is currently living in a time when everything is going out of control against the world government. They're losing their grip on this world. So, in this dangerous time, what is going to be his bounty? And what do I mean by double bounty increase? Let's find out in this video. The chapter 956 set the tone for us and the world of One Piece. The world government and the celestial dragons have been enjoying their peaceful life over 800 years. Now, it is time someone pulled them down from their high seats and let them face the world of the strong. In chapter 956, there was a suspense regarding what happened to Sabo and the other members of the revolutionary armies. Big News Morgans clickbaited us thinking Sabo might have died or got captured, but chapter 1037 kind of debunked it. Foreshadowed, Sabo and others are still alive. The abolishment of Shichibukai system is what we all expected. We saw it coming, so there wasn't much of a surprise. But what made us excited is guessing which admirals went to capture Mihawk. And then chapter 957 happened and it turned our world upside down with those crazy bounties and unbelievable information. It revealed information that was kept secret even from the Marines. Well, the admirals knew about them though. We got to know about Rocks, God Valley Incident, Roger and Garp's collaboration, Rocks D. Zebek, and the end of Rocks Pirates. It actually overturned the hype or build-up we got from the previous chapter, chapter 956. Boa Hancock's dialogue made us excited. She looked so confident. She doesn't even care if an admiral were to show up and fight her. That's exactly the kind of attitude we want from her. Mihawk expected all of this. From the moment the kings brought up the topic of abolishment of Shichibukai system, he expected this outcome. Mihawk's epithet is Hawk Eyes, so there is obviously something very special about his eyes. Maybe it can put his opponent in an illusion or hypnosis. It is something like Genjutsu from Naruto. Wouldn't it be fun if his Hawk Eyes don't serve any purpose? People only call him Hawk Eyes because his eyes resemble a hawk's eyes, just like Shanks is called Red Hair because of his hair color. Now, when I look at Mihawk, the first thing comes to our mind is, he's a vampire. Look at his hair, sideburns, mustache, and short beard. His castle stresses this point even more. Everything about him points in that direction. Oda drew a picture of Mihawk when he was a kid, and we saw bruises on his body and face. He had been practicing diligently from his childhood. Perhaps he always wanted to become the strongest swordsman in the world. When Zoro was at his age, he went to a dojo to defeat the swordsman and take over the dojo. He wanted to become the strongest swordsman, and he made a vow to his rival Kuina. Did something similar happen to Mihawk? Someone encouraged him to become the strongest swordsman. It would be interesting. He's one of the characters filled with mystery. We don't know his origin, but we can guess he's from a noble family or a fallen noble family. Look at him when he was a child. Someone is from a noble family from his shoes and hair. The condition of one's shoes and hair often represents if someone is from a noble family or not. Perhaps he was born and raised in the Grand Line and already became famous even before Roger's execution. He always up for a challenge. He knew that the only way to become strong is to fight strong. I can see him challenging the strong swordsmen all over the Grand Line and defeating them one after another. From his getup, he doesn't look like a pirate. He doesn't have a crew or a proper ship. Then why does the world government call him a pirate? Perhaps Mihawk's pirate is the same reason Pedro was a pirate. Pedro wanted to find the Poneglyph and fought pirates. That's why the Marines put a bounty on his head. Mihawk might have fought pirates and roamed in the Grand Line. The Marines might have gone to catch him and got obliterated instead. That's how he got a bounty. In the past, he and Shanks were rivals. Their duels were legendary. The news crew went crazy about their battle and let the people know about the outcome and the impact it had on nature and lands. They might have caused a few man-made disasters, like splitting the islands, pulverizing mountains, changing weather, to name a few. Even Whitebeard was impressed. In fact, he talked about it to Shanks when he came to warn him about Blackbeard. In chapter 956, we saw at least 10 ships went after Mihawk. I don't know if there is any admiral on board. We saw Fujitora on a mission. We saw a Sea King poking its head out of the sea. Calm Belt is the nest of the Sea Kings, but the sea surface is usually peaceful there. However, there were crazy waves smashing against the ships. Moreover, Sea Kings can be found all over the Grand Line, even in the East Blue. So Fujitora may not be in the Calm Belt, so he's not going after Boa Hancock. Does that mean he's going after Mihawk? If Oda wants to hype up Mihawk and save Green Bull from the embarrassment, then he would let Mihawk fight Fujitora, and he would breach the encirclement while demolishing the Marines who went after him, except Fujitora. Fujitora already got injured fighting Sabo and other members of the Revolutionary Army, so taking another injury from Mihawk wouldn't stain his reputation. After all, he's fighting the strongest swordsman in the world. Mihawk obliterating the Marines wouldn't be anything new. We have precedents of it happening. In order to prevent Whitebeard and Shanks meeting each other, the Marines sent numerous battleships and soldiers, but they were all wiped out. So we could see the same happening again, so there is nothing unusual about it. On the other hand, if Oda wants to hype up Green Bull, then all he needs to do is to injure Mihawk a bit. In chapter 957, we saw Marines are still assessing the threat level of the warlords and are yet to put up a new bounty. So I think they would put a bounty of 1.5 billion to 2 billion on Mihawk. Yonko are the top of the food chain in the One Piece world, so their bounty must be higher than any other pirates, and it should reflect on Mihawk's bounty poster as well. However, after Wano arc, we would see something crazy happening. I mean, Luffy would defeat Kaido, and his bounty would be at least 3 billion berries. And Blackbeard is also on the move. He's going to do something crazy, and that incident would increase his bounty as well, and may be over 3.5 billion. So after Mihawk injures an admiral, his bounty would increase again, a double bounty increase. His new bounty would be this, over 3.7 billions. Now, would Mihawk fight Shiryu or Shiryu? I don't see him fighting Shiryu, because if Shiryu fights him, Shiryu is going to lose. Zoro is going to be the one to defeat Shiryu. And if Shiryu defeats Mihawk, which is impossible, but even if there is 1% chance, Zoro and Mihawk's promise would be meaningless. Moreover, it is not in Blackbeard Pirates' nature to fight the strong opponent head-on. They look for an opportunity and make the best out of it. That's how they became strong, not by their strength, but because they use trickery and ruse. Even if Shiryu uses tricks and fights Mihawk, I don't see him winning. Even against the odds, Mihawk would still remain undefeated until he meets Zoro for a showdown. Actually, Mihawk's bounty would be the benchmark for Zoro. If he can increase his bounty around Mihawk's level, then it would mean that he is eligible to challenge him. By the time Luffy gets One Piece, Zoro would already be at Yonko level, so his bounty should reflect his strength and threat level. So Mihawk having a bounty over 3.5 billion is not unreasonable. What should be Mihawk's reasonable bounty? Comment down below. See you in the next video.